Gloria Bennett was invisible to most people, not because she was quiet, though she was, not because she dressed plain, though she did, but because of the job she wore like a second skin: housekeeping. For 12 years, she worked at the Palmetto Grand Hotel, one of the finest in downtown Chicago. She cleaned after the rich, scrubbed bathtubs where politicians sinned, disinfected nightstands where millionaires whispered lies. And every time she walked through the marble lobby, people averted their eyes, as if poverty could rub off. She wore yellow gloves that smelled like bleach, white orthopedic sneakers with holes on the sides, and an old name tag that said Gloria in fading gold letters. She was 47th single mother, no degree, no husband, just a lifetime of hard choices and one reason to keep going: her son, Malik. To Gloria, Malik was everything, a miracle she raised with bare hands and blistered feet. Most of the hotel staff saw her as background noise, but Stephanie Collins, front desk supervisor, treated her like a stain on the carpet. Stephanie, with her perfect bob cut, red lipstick, and fake professionalism, never missed a chance to belittle Gloria. One day, Stephanie passed her in the hallway and whispered to a co-worker, loud enough for Gloria to hear, "They should make these people use the back entrance. No one wants to see a maid pushing a cart next to a five-star guest." Gloria didn't respond, not because she couldn't, but because she knew where the power lived in that building. It wasn't in the mop. It was in the clipboard. She hadn't always been the maid. Gloria once had dreams: a full scholarship to Howard. She wanted to write novels that shook souls, but life doesn't pause for hope. At 18, she got pregnant. Her parents disowned her. She dropped out, worked night shifts, slept on friends' couches, survived. And when Malik was born, she made a vow: he would never be invisible like her. He would be seen. By the time Malik turned 10, he was already reading at a college level. By 13, he was tutoring his teachers in math. By 16, he built a language learning app that went viral in his school district. And at 19, he got into a top university with a full ride in artificial intelligence. Everyone thought Gloria was just a maid, but she was also the mother of a genius. Then came the necklace. A high-profile guest, Eileen Winters, heiress and wine mogul, claimed her diamond necklace went missing after a fundraising gala at the hotel. The next morning, security footage was checked, guests were questioned, and housekeepers were called in. Stephanie took one look at the assignment logs and smirked. Gloria had cleaned that room. They didn't arrest her, no, but they made her feel every inch of guilt. She was pulled into the office where HR sat stiffly behind a desk, and Stephanie stood in the corner with crossed arms and a victorious grin. "We're not accusing you," Stephanie said, her voice sugary sweet. "We just need to understand what happened." They searched her locker, her cart, her purse, even her lunch bag. Nothing. But the whispers started anyway. Co-workers who once laughed with her now avoided eye contact. Security followed her down halls. Guests stared too long. Gloria didn't cry. She didn't scream. But she went home with shaking hands and no paycheck. Suspended indefinitely. But Malik didn't panic. He didn't storm into the hotel or raise his voice. He just sat with his laptop, nodding slowly, and said, "Let me handle it." Malik had always been different. While other kids were glued to games, he was reading code. While others skipped class, he was building bots. He didn't just use the internet, he dissected it. So when his mother told him what happened, he didn't panic, he didn't cuss, didn't shout. He just opened his laptop, cracked his knuckles, and whispered, "Let's see who really took that necklace." Within 2 hours, he found the first crack in the hotel's security footage. The system the Palmetto Grand used was high-end, but sloppy. Malik hacked into a public backup log stored off-site. The hotel didn't even encrypt the footage properly. He sorted by timestamp, filtered through the feeds, and there it was. 1:47 a.m., a hotel employee, not Gloria, a white male, medium build, wearing valet uniform, entering the guest suite 20 minutes after Gloria had signed out. The file name was mislabeled. The footage had been overlooked, but Malik didn't stop there. He traced the employee's ID badge. Name, Eric Dawson, 27, valet. 2 disciplinary reports for being in unauthorized areas. Malik took screenshots, downloaded footage, and sent a private email to hotel corporate. Subject line, "You suspended the wrong person. Here's proof." 3 hours later, the hotel's regional director, Ms. Clara Dawson, flew in from Atlanta, not because of the necklace, but because the email had been forwarded to legal. Stephanie was called into a private meeting. HR was silent. Legal was present. The footage played. Eric Dawson, her cousin, was clearly seen removing the necklace from the drawer. He didn't even try to hide it. He pocketed it, walked out, never logged entry. Stephanie's hands shook. She knew it was over. Not only had she overlooked key evidence, she had covered for family. The next morning, Gloria was called back in. She hadn't slept. Her hands were still shaking, her stomach in knots. But when she walked into the conference room, everyone stood, not out of respect, out of guilt. Clara Dawson stood at the head of the table and said, "Ms. Bennett, I owe you more than an apology. I owe you justice." Gloria didn't say a word. She just sat down, folded her hands, and waited. Eric was arrested on the spot. Turns out he'd sold the necklace within 12 hours of stealing it. Police recovered it in a pawn shop in Milwaukee. Stephanie, terminated. On record, no severance, no references. HR offered Gloria her job back, but she declined. "I've mopped enough of this building to know how dirty it really is." Then Clara asked the question that would change everything. "What do you want, Miss Bennett?" Gloria paused. For the first time in years, she allowed herself to dream. "I want opportunity. I want to help build a place where women like me don't get blamed first." 2 months later, the Palmetto Grand reopened under new management. Corporate had quietly demoted several executives, restructured HR, and launched a new initiative focused on diversity, ethics, and accountability. At the center of that initiative, Gloria Bennett, her new title, Director of Workplace Integrity and Culture, a position that had never existed before. Her job was to train management, lead employee advocacy efforts, and ensure voices like hers were never silenced again. She walked the halls now not in uniform but in sleek pantsuits, badge clipped to her blazer, shoulders back, eyes level, and people noticed. Some whispered, others stared, but the ones who once ignored her, they now stood up when she entered the room. Even the general manager, who once handed her toilet brushes without eye contact, now greeted her with a nervous smile. She had earned more than a paycheck. She had earned her name back. Malik, meanwhile, took a job with a cybersecurity firm in California. His work had impressed more than just the hotel. He was now working on encryption systems for global banks. And every Sunday, he still called his mother, still told her, "You're the real genius, Mom. I just borrowed your strength." Then came the conference. The hotel hosted a leadership summit for women in hospitality. Gloria was invited to give the keynote. She stood at the podium in front of 500 people, executives, entrepreneurs, press, and she told her story, not just about the necklace, but about the years of silence, the missed meals, the humiliation, the loneliness, and the fire that never died. "You want to know what power looks like?" she said. "Power is a maid who raises a genius. Power is surviving the lie and still telling the truth. Power is walking back into a building that tried to bury you and building something better." The crowd rose to their feet, not out of politeness, but out of awe, because they didn't see just a maid. They saw a leader. And outside the ballroom on a quiet bench sat a new housekeeper, young, tired, quiet, just like Gloria used to be. As the girl packed up her cleaning cart, Gloria walked by, stopped, and said, "Don't let them tell you who you are. They can't see it yet, but one day they will." Truehood, tales, real pain, real power, real stories. If this story moved you, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel for more powerful stories like this one. Thank you for watching.